Hey, PhLo here with a surprise live stream. Wasn't really planning it at all. Hey Leo, thanks for the lemon. So I'm out here on a volcanic feature that I didn't really think would be very interesting, but it's actually more interesting than I expected. And when there was check the speed test, it was decent signal, so I'm gonna try it out. It'll take me just a second to get going here. Alright, so I don't normally go out of my way to record these boulder type features, but this one's kind of cool. And since there's a signal, I might try to just live stream this whole hike to a certain degree anyway. See how much I can get out of it before it dies down. So I'm standing right beside this thing here, which is kind of cool looking. But it's not just cool looking. The crazy thing about it is that this whole thing on the top actually moves. And I took a short of it already, and I'll post that to my YouTube, but I wanted to see if I could get it on the live stream too. So let me see. Yeah, really weird shapes. I have no idea what causes this kind of stuff because there's basically nothing around here. I think it's actually part of the larger crater that I'm seeking on the map. So this is just like the very bottom of it. But honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if this is one of the more interesting parts of it. As I go up further on the crater, I have no idea if there will be rock features like this or not. So some may say this is a little bit daredevilish to do what I'm about to do, but I don't think it's that dangerous. But I'll be careful. But I wanted to share this on the stream if possible. Like I said, this entire top rock, it's a rocking rock. It moves. I'll see if I can capture that. So I have my tripod, which is convenient. There's not really a lot of flat areas to set up my camera, so see if I can get my tripod set up down here. I'm actually pretty surprised that there is a cell signal here because I'm in the middle of the forest and I'm not particularly high up where I have line of sight. So I'm kind of surprised actually. Alright, I might have to put this all the way down on the forest floor, actually. Whoa. So that's what it looks like from down here. Okay, give me a second well, more than a second, give me a minute to set up my tripod. Even the areas that look flat are not quite flat. That's flat there, but I can't get a good angle from there. very cheap tripod. It's not incredibly stable. I have a really nice one, but it's really heavy. I like to carry it on my hikes. Go up in that top rock and watch how many. I hear some movement behind me. I don't know if that picked up on the microphone, but something cracking on branches, which means it's most likely kind of big. I don't hear that very often. I mean, there could be a person out here, but I doubt it. It's probably some animal. Usually animals are pretty good at staying quiet and not announcing their presence. I don't see anything back there. Well, I should keep an eye out just in case. Oh, I wonder if I have my little chat strap thing. I should check it out. Check my bag, see if I have that with me. Alright, I'll be careful, but I can pretty easily move this whole rock. I don't know if it'll be easy to see from down there. But I'll be ready to do a Legolas jump up the falling rocks, defying gravity if it moves too much. I'm not going to get it moving, rocking too much, because I think if I moved it too much, there is actually a decent chance it could fall off. I don't know what's keeping it on there, but it's just barely balancing. I mean, this thing's got to weigh like, I don't know, I have no idea, but let's just say, let's see, maybe 10 to 20 tons. I mean, I don't really know how to estimate, but it's many thousands of pounds. And yet I'm here just around 200 pounds and I'm able to rock it back and forth. Pretty crazy. I thought that was pretty sweet to share on the live stream in my short, because I don't see that kind of thing often. Like, I'll see rocks like a tenth of this size that I can move by standing on them, but this is the biggest rock I've ever seen that I can move with my own body weight. It's tempting to like get it really going, but I'm not really a big fan of disturbing natural rock formations. Like, I wouldn't want to try to make it fall or something. If a bunch of kids were up there, I'm sure that'd be the first thing they'd want to do, because it's a pretty rare opportunity. Anyway, always got to be careful when you're on these rock formations, because you really never know when they're going to move. I'm always talking about, sounds kind of like a conspiracy or a unjustified concern, but like, you know, what if a rock falls right as I stand on it? It's been there for thousands of years, and then I come along and off the side it goes. Well, here's a Here's one of those demonstrations, and that kind of thing has happened to a much smaller degree when I'm hiking. Actually, it happened with my friend not too long ago. We were out hiking on this kind of stuff, and he stood on a pile of rocks, something like one of these, trying to get up to the next highest level, and it just kind of broke out from under him. Thankfully he didn't get hurt, but you never know. And I've had little things collapse on me as well, just tiny rocks under my feet, usually like a foothold I'm trying to climb up. But I'm pretty careful. Not going to say it can't happen to me, but I do try to be very careful where I put my weight. And as you can see, I'm going really slow, cautious. This area has some pine needles on the rocks, which pine needles and moss on top of rocks are pretty notorious for breaking out. So that's kind of why I'm going so slow, looking like an old man. I mean, I am an old man, so can't really help that, but I hate that. I'm always concerned that'll happen. It doesn't usually, but yeah, this microphone has a magnet on it to hold it to my shirt, and it's just, I don't trust it, and that kind of demonstrated why just there. Not strong enough to hold it on when I'm moving around and stuff. It's good if I'm stationary, but all right. Let me get back to normal streaming mode where I carry my stuff with me. I'm gonna see how far I can get with the signal holding out. Not sure what to do with the microphone now. It's gonna fall off every time I move. I'll try the magnet one more time. Once I get up there, I can do what I prefer, which is to strap it to my backpack. It's a lot more secure that way. I have the Donkey Kong song stuck in my head. I guess I didn't realize this. I've been watching Retro Nate on YouTube. Not like I don't watch all of his shows by any means, but sometimes when I'm just looking for something to watch while I eat or whatever, he's going through every NES. I know every NES game, but I think he might be going through Super Nintendo and Genesis as well. Anyway, one of his recent posts, he is going through, or he did Donkey Kong, the classic original on the NES, adapted from the arcade. Anyway, it's a long story for an unimportant point, but I got that song stuck in my head. I didn't realize that the song from Donkey Kong Country was like a callback to that game. It has the same melody and stuff. It's pretty cool. Okay, let's see. I never got into Donkey Kong back in the day. Some of those original arcade games like Centipede, Donkey Kong, Asteroids, and stuff like that. I never really, or Space Invaders, all those kind. I never really got into those. I was more into like platformers, I guess. Alright, so I need to, why did I put that away? I still need that. Yeah, so I guess my video game journey mostly started with like Commodore 64, I think was maybe my first video game experience, other than I might have gone to arcades before I actually had something at home. I know I had the arcade experience, which is something that I kind of feel bad that people these days don't get to really live that true experience. Like, you can still find arcades, but they're, I don't know, it's not the same, really. You go to arcades now and you're more likely to see like old people trying to relive their past, I feel like. Just the arcade scene back in the 80s and 90s was very different. Plus it was cheaper, like they had nickel arcades, which that's pretty much all I ever went to. I didn't go to the 25 cent, 75 cent. That stuff just turned me off of arcades at that point. And that's kind of when prices got that expensive, that's when everybody had consoles at home anyway, so I think they kind of the word is, but they priced themselves out of the market, really. If anything, there should have been as many or more nickel arcades or 10-cent arcades or something to kind of keep the tradition going. Never know what I'm going to talk about. Wasn't expecting to blabber about old video games today. Okay, I'm just going to get packed up and then I'll continue the hike and see how far I can get while the signal is holding out. If I didn't miss any messages, I try to have it on the alert where it beeps. I'm so used to having 0 messages on live streams. I've gotten kind of comfortable or used, just not lazy, but it's like if you don't get messages for 5 streams in a row or something, then you start forgetting to even check for messages. I think I missed some messages in one of my last streams on Soulbound. I noticed there was a couple chatters there after the fact. I don't know how I missed those. Sometimes social stream doesn't work perfectly. Okay. Alright, let's explore the rest of this ridge. This might be the coolest part just because of that teeter-totter rock. Now I have to come up with a stupid play on words for the teeter-totter rock. Teeter-totter. Not sure what I'll do with that one. Alright, see you later, surfing rock. You can call it surf rock or something. Rock surfing. Keep it simple. Call it rock surfing, probably. Okay, so I'm following this crescent-shaped ridge line. This was just the very beginning of it, so I have no idea what to expect. There could be more interesting rocks, or that could be the best part. I don't think it goes up very high, so it's not like super prominent. It's not going to be above the trees or anything, so I don't expect a clear view necessarily. And I'll just keep this going as long as the signal holds out. Not sure if it'll keep going or not. Theoretically it could, because I'm kind of surprised that there was a signal down at the bottom. Usually there's nothing at the bottom until I get up higher, so that's kind of unusual. So for those new to my channel, if you ever hear that chime sound, I'm actually marking some of these boulders just so I know I've been here. I wrote a script. Well, I didn't write it. AI wrote it for me. Oh, I see more boulders up there. So that wasn't the only one. Anyway, I have about over 20 scripts now that I've had AI write using Python that are very, very helpful. Saved me tons of time on my map and photo processing, so it's pretty cool. It's very strange to me how these random lava rocks seem to just be in the middle of nowhere. I think over this way is actually the center of the crater. You can see that it goes down, but it's not necessarily incredibly obvious that it's like a ring, like a volcano ring. But I can promise you it is. It's one of those things you can only really see the shape from a LiDAR map with all these trees on it. I don't think probably even most locals know about this. And in fact, I don't think most people that live around like where I hike know much about like the places that I go to. There's a few like large mountains that you'll find other hikers on, and the trails can even be pretty crowded, but places where I go, there's no trails typically, and I have it all to myself. I can't remember if I marked this one. I don't think so. And not only are there not other hikers, but I don't think people even come to these places at all. Like, it's probably very rare. This stuff is always super fascinating to me. These strange shapes out in the middle of nowhere. It's always pretty level too. I kind of wish I had some geology background so I could explain some of this stuff, but I have my own theories. And in some ways I kind of like that I don't know, because I can come up with my own ideas. Like if you look at these layers, they're the same. Like you can see that lower layer and then a higher layer, and they're kind of the same thickness around. To me, this is evidence of a worldwide flood. I know people will mock that idea, but this is the kind of stuff that you see around mountain lakes. If you go down to the shores of mountain lakes where there's rocks around the perimeter, you'll see where the water has kind of worn little, I don't know what to call these, but ruts or carvings out of the side of the rocks, just where the water is kind of beating back and forth for, hundreds of years. And so to me, even though I'm kind of up in a high area, to see these straight across areas, worn spots like this, to me that speaks of water wearing across. And the only way you'd have water up this high is if it was flooded pretty significantly. And I see these kinds of things quite often on tall mountains. I think it would be quite interesting to try to gauge their exact elevation and see if you find similar patterns of erosion at similar elevations in different areas. Like maybe 10 miles from here you might find something like this at a similar elevation. If that was true, I would say that is a pretty, for me anyway, a convincing argument for a flood that covered the entire area. And for it to cover this high of an area, I would say that the biblical account of Noah's flood is quite credible at that point. Either that, or there was an equally large flood in the past. And there's a lot of local folklore and accounts from thousands of years ago of a flood account. Not just in the Bible, but other accounts in Chinese, old literature, and the Epic of Gilgamesh, and other accounts. So it's not entirely irrational. But of course, some of these, I don't think that it's all from the flood or anything. Like, a lot of this could have been formed by lava as well. Just lava flowing through this area. But to me, it's quite interesting that when you see a line like that that's so perfectly straight across. Like, these up here are more angled, although you can tell that it probably shifted over time. Looks like it used to be up on the top and it kind of slanted down a bit. Alright, so let me mark some of these. This is pretty cool stuff. I'm not going to climb all of them. I actually feel a little bit cautious today, just after seeing how unstable that large rock was. Oh wow, I might get a view up here after all, at least of nearby features. There's definitely a ton of volcanic activity in this area. I'm always amazed at how many volcano features there are. I've been doing this for several years now, just in this general area, and I've found hundreds so far. And I know I have just scratched the surface. There's a lot more. Wow, this is actually quite interesting. I did not expect really anything here. From the LiDAR, it looks kind of like a gradual mound around the rim. I didn't really expect there to be so much texture like this. Unfortunately, LiDAR, if it's done at a high resolution, will show all of this stuff. But I don't know how they prioritize where they do the scanning, and I don't know how they do it really, other than I'm assuming they probably use aircraft. I doubt that it's done from satellite, but it could be, but I'm guessing it's probably lower aircraft than that. And it's probably quite expensive for them to do that, to fly all over the place, so they probably have areas that they prioritize higher than others. And I often see that on the LiDAR map that I have access to. You'll just see like seams in the tile information where it goes from extremely high resolution to very rough, soft looking. I feel like I have to climb this one. Like, I don't want to get stuck in the mentality where I have to climb every single one, but this one's pretty, it's like calling my name. It should be pretty easy. It doesn't look too dangerous. I would climb a lot more of these if I wasn't live streaming. I wouldn't have to be carrying all this gear, and I would just hop up these real quick and be on my way. It's a bigger ordeal when I have to set my camera down. I've got all my big backpack gear on, just makes me a lot more clumsy. This tree is kind of in the way. In my younger years, I probably would have walked across that tree. I'm a lot more cautious about that stuff, but I've actually seen large logs like that so rotten that they split in half, and so it's really not a good idea. All right, I'm close enough to the top. Can't really comfortably stand up here. All these branches in my way. Okay, I need a drink. So I took the extra time to be live today, kind of as an experiment. Just want to see if anybody watches live streams on YouTube, because I haven't been doing it for a while. Kind of guessing not so much, but never know. And I'm also, in theory, I should be live on Odyssey also, and possibly even BitChute today, which I don't usually spend the time to set those up because they're kind of a lot of extra work. Oh, this is a pleasant surprise. I am quite shocked to see all this lava up here. guessing there's a fairly consistent level wear pattern underneath these rocks too, which really, to me, just speaks like this has had to have seen water in the past. And interestingly enough, there are some lakes in this area that are just like this. They're the same shape. They're also craters, and they're full of water, so it's really not that hard to believe that all of this could have been touched by water at some point in the past. Hey, Li Hong Chen, welcome. Alright, this is quite a drop. I could get down, but I'm just going to take the easy way over here. Some deer or elk activity up here. That's where I was just standing. I could have gotten down, but it's just annoying when I'm carrying my camera and stuff. Oh wow, that's a big track right there. Not sure if that shows, but I kind of see it next to my foot. Not a human track, that's for sure. There's a lot more lava down on the slope too. I can see some over that way. I'm going to stay up here on the ridge though. I don't want to get stuck in the endless pursuit of marking every boulder. I'll mark the ones that I encounter on the way, but I'm not going to try to walk down there. So in case you're curious, the song that's stuck in my head is da 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 da. Ever since watching Retro Nate's video earlier, Donkey Kong has been stuck in my head. Wait, did I push my button? I don't think I did. I don't remember hearing a chime sound. I might have. Pretty common to see faces in the side of these rocks. A lot of my drawings turn out to look kind of like those kind of faces. I was going to do a sketchbook stream last night, but I was, oh wow, look at this. I was spending a lot of time getting my OBS fully back up and operational. Oh no. Signal just died randomly. That sucks. Not sure if that'll be a repeating thing. looks okay right now. Anyway, this almost looks like a fire ring, like a human-made structure, but it could still be natural. It's hard to know for sure. It's kind of in a weird spot. There's a big rock over there. I'm kind of tempted to go explore that, but I prefer to just stay up here on the crater rim. Oh wow, this is quite a unique tree. I'm actually surprised it's still upright with that much rot in it. Which reminds me, I should have been taking a few pictures of those rocks. I kind of forget to take pictures when I'm live streaming. Definitely get one of this tree. Oh man, I am kind of missing some of the cooler rocks down there. Maybe I'll at least check these out. It's pretty significant actually. It's definitely worth a side trip. I just hope this doesn't kill the stream. I'm not sure which direction I'm connected. Yeah, these are quite significant rocks. Oh, it's tempting to climb all of them, but I don't want to get that distracted. I'd be okay if this is the only place to go today, but this was sort of a last second unplanned stop on the way to something bigger, but this might end up being more interesting for all I know. There's those same two layers that we saw earlier, separated by a fair distance, but they look quite similar. There's a lot of chipmunks that live in these rocks. Alright, so I'll go explore that one over there behind those two skinny trees, and then I'll probably head back up to the actual top of the rim. Unless I see more of these, then I might stay down here, we'll see. Wouldn't be surprised if the signal cuts out as I go behind this rock. tempting to take my camera off and just climb without it, but it's kind of a pain. Plus, I don't see any flat spot here. Possibly over here, we'll see. This is really risky putting it on the ground because the lower you get to the ground, the more likely it's gonna cut the signal. I should probably have this on my wrist. Whew. Alright, that was easy, but it's always fun to mark the significant boulders. Should have been more careful with my battery. Oh, we got a little inchworm or something. Kind of reminds me of the worm on Sesame Street, actually. Oh, he fell off. Alright, let's get back up to the ridge. Kind of secretly hope, not so secret, that there's not too many of those to go down to. I think there's been a quite large elk up here. I don't know what else would make that kind of mark. It's too big for a deer, that's for sure. This is one of those that I could see moving if I stood on it the wrong way. I don't think it will, but I could see it as a possibility. Whew. Nice and warm today. Oh, haha. I just caught a glimpse of some very cool rocks ahead. It's not over yet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's elk tracks. Some weird shapes in the rocks. Yeah, I wasn't even planning on getting out today, and then I opened the curtains and just decided to go for it. I knew it was going to be nice, but there's some things I need to work on and I have a hard time motivating. There's the rocks up there. Not sure if you can see them yet. They look pretty cool. Here's some smaller ones on the way up. These obviously fell down. They were up higher on the ridge, and then they sloped down over time. There's a bunch more down there also. I'm not going to go to those, I don't think. Wow. These ones coming up though are magnificent. That's crazy. So many layers. Need to remember to record some shorts while I'm up here too. I got one on that balancing rock back at the beginning, but haven't done anything otherwise. I guess one thing I could do is rotate my stream temporarily and just get a vertical shot straight on the stream, but the quality wouldn't be as good. It'd be a lot easier though, that's for sure. Wow, those are huge. That's like at least 15 feet tall. Probably 20 feet. I don't know if I'll climb that one. I'd like to, but I feel like there's a decent chance some of those top rocks could break away. I lost my balance there. It's really tempting to try to climb it. I'll see what it looks like on the other side, if it looks stable or not. Let me see how this might disturb the stream a little bit, but I'm going to try it. I've never tried this before. Hey, Flo here. I am on a very small volcano ring with stuff I did not expect to see at all. Check out these amazing layered structures in front of me. I would say they're between 15 and 20 feet tall, way towering above me. There's a big old long string of them. Not sure how far it'll go. I might try to climb some of them, but I'm a little bit worried that they might collapse, so I probably won't be cautious. I guess the only weird thing about recording that way is it'll have my logo down on the bottom rotated 90 degrees, but I guess that's fine. Wow. Hey Joe, thanks for the ice creams. Check out these crazy layered things in front of me. I'm not sure if I'm going to climb any of them. They look a little bit tippy, like if I get on the wrong side they might break apart, which I don't like to break natural formations. Plus that could be dangerous for me as well. Yeah, try to stay safe. Oh, this stuff is really interesting though. That one would be fairly hazardous to climb because I wouldn't be able to climb right here on the end. Like I could stand right there, which would be convenient to climb. But I think I would actually have to crawl out on the edge this way and go up that way because that's where all the footholds are. So I do not think I will climb that today. I'll just kind of generically mark some of these. That's some good background picture for your monitor material. Yeah, totally. It's funny. I haven't really thought of that concept for a long time. But yeah, I mean, it's still a thing, but I never do it. Like, I feel like I haven't done that since like Windows 95 or something. And now I'm on Linux, which really doesn't change anything because you can do the same thing on Linux, of course, but actually, usually because of all the media heavy stuff that I do with my computer, I generally don't have a background image and I just have it like a black solid color. It may be I don't know what to call it, but not true thing, but I just kind of imagine that it takes more out of my memory, just a little bit at least, to display a high resolution image on my desktop, or in my case I have multiple desktops, than it would to just have a black background. But that could be completely untrue. I did ask AI once about that and I don't remember what it said. I think it said it was kind of negligible, if I remember right. But that looks like a camel, doesn't it? I mean, a very exaggerated, weird looking camel, but there's like a head on the front here, and we got a huge hump on the back. Might be below the 150 IQ barrier to use it. Keeps whining about additional resources and stuff I don't know how to correct, yeah. Hey, friends. Beautiful scenery, just curious where roughly. I'm in Oregon, like on the west coast of the United States. If it works for you, it's awesome. Yeah, this stuff is cool. Hey, Dr. firefly. Check out this way. I might actually lose the signal as I go up in between these things. So I'm kind of lingering here for a few minutes just so I can get part of it on the live stream. But I'm guessing some of these might block the signal once I go back there. We're neighbors. I'm around Vancouver, BC. Yeah, I know. I've actually been up there once, long time ago. It's a really beautiful city. Oh man, one of my favorite things there, I know this sounds silly, but I think that was the first time I had gelato at that kind of outdoorish, well, it's not outdoor, but like kind of in that big building where they have the market and stuff. Man, that was good. Super yummy. But I actually did a lot of stuff there. I went to Vancouver and Victoria for a vacation. It was super fun, nice place. Stayed at some bed and breakfasts. Granville Market, it's a blast. Yeah, that's it, yep. I remember the name. I went to the, let's see. I went to the aquarium, that was pretty awesome. I honestly can't remember. It's been a lot of years. It's like probably almost 20 years ago. It's a long, no, let's see, maybe more like 16, 17, something like that, 16. Yeah, that thing's like a solid brick right there. Pretty much the same, but more expensive. The good news is your dollar will go further. Oh, really? Yeah, because of the exchange. I don't keep track of all that dollar to whatever exchange stuff. Of course, when you don't have any dollars to begin with, it doesn't really go very far. I don't have much money these days. Alright, let me get a picture of this before I head up there. There's a pretty good chance this will kill the signal when I get up there. I heard your DSLR. Can I ask what your body and lens are today? I do have a DSLR, but it's really old. But today I'm actually, for the last, I don't know, 10 years, however long I've had this thing. It's just a Sony A6000. It's actually not an SLR, but it's, you know, similar. Mirrorless. First generation. Now they have better ones, but still serves me well. And it's just a kit lens, 16 to 40 something. I don't remember. 16 to 42 or something like that. Nothing special, but it takes better pictures than my cell phone. I was actually trying to wean myself off of fancier cameras because I don't like carrying them around, and I was successful in brainwashing myself for a while. But then I just had this one hiking trip where I was really disappointed with the quality of my photos, so I just decided to switch back. So I've been carrying it the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. But yeah, I was kind of hoping not to have to carry it around anymore. It's just one more piece of gear that I have to have strapped around my neck and weighing me down. Alright, I'm going to try to climb this one. It might kill the stream as I go up higher, but this one looks relatively safe to climb. Yeah, that's a good point. Those ounces are at it. Well, if you saw, like, it's hard. I can't show myself because I'm holding my gimbal and stuff. But if you saw all the stuff that I have, like I have a big backpack, I've got my camera and a water bottle strapped around. And it's just cumbersome to like try to climb or explore with all this stuff I'm carrying. But it's mainly because of the live streaming. Like if I wasn't live streaming, I wouldn't have half of this stuff. I might actually get a view up here. Okay, here's where I might end up cutting out as I go up into this little alcove. This is insane. I don't know how this formed. Hey, Sun Bear. How are you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, this is pretty crazy stuff here. Great Flood was no joke. Yep, that's my first impression too, is that all this was formed during that time, but I'm no scientist and I know it. There's a lot of people that mock that idea. Whoa, thanks for the diamond. That's insane. Not to say that you're insane, but you know what I mean. That's very generous. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, I got a view up here. Whew. Camera is so incredibly crisp. Yeah, this is just my cell phone. It's a Samsung S23 Ultra, which is pretty good for this stuff. It kind of exaggerates the colors a little bit, but I like it. Has some nice zooming capabilities too, which is kind of the main reason I got it. All right, let me mark this. Got a heart rock up here, but it's attached, so I can't get that one. Well, I could, but I don't like to damage natural rock formations unnecessarily. This is either one of those musical symbols or number 3, or what else could that be? This rock right here looks like a number 3, or one of those weird musical symbols, almost an ampersand. I can't help but see things in shapes. I could definitely climb those. That one on the left is so thin. That looks like not much thinner than my torso. Like, honestly, it's probably a little bit. I'm not quite that chubby, but I'd be a little bit worried it might break in half as I'm climbing up. I have a S22 Ultra, but my toddler chewed my phone and scratched one of the cameras. Oh, man. Oh, it's funny, but not funny at the same time. That's so weird. Why do babies do that? Yum, plastic. Oh no indeed. Well, apparently Gorilla Glass is not toddler proof. They need to start making baby glass or something, and it's like the whole next level. Drawn to glass just like my mom. Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's funny. Yeah, I'm not going to climb all these today. There's just too many of them. But I'm actually kind of floored that this is so interesting. I had marked some boulders up here based on LiDAR map. But I did not expect anything as cool as these. That's for sure. Alright, gotta be careful. I got no hands to use. It's all in the footwork. Okay. Get a couple of photos while I'm up here. These rock climbing noises are extremely relaxing, really. You can hear all that stuff. It's funny. All right. I don't even know what to mark. It'd be cool to get on top of this one right here, but that would require a little bit of scrambling. Wow, this is crazy. I'm guessing this is kind of, this is probably the summit of this thing, actually. Now that I look around, I don't see anything nearly this high. So I think that one over there is the tallest one. So I'll try to climb that one just so I can say I summited this peak, if you want to call it that, this volcano. For everyone out there that's confused, that was my attempt at humor. I wasn't sure. It had one of those tones that could be taken as sarcasm, or maybe like, because there's people that really struggle with addiction. Like, I think we're all kind of addicted to something, so that part of it could have been a real personal experience connection there. But I thought, well, that could be a joke too. So I didn't say anything. I was just going to let it kind of dispel itself out with further clarification, which Joe was kind enough to clarify it. Joe and I are buddies. I knew he was joking. Nice. I kind of thought so, but I wasn't sure. That's the thing that is terrible about, I mean, we all know this, but text messaging is one thing, because most of the time people are smart enough on text messages to include emojis that kind of clarify certain tones, or, you know, like joking or sarcasm stuff. But like on live streams, I don't know, there's something about it that just, it's always hard to be for totally certain what somebody is trying to get across. All right, I'm going to climb this little one just so I can mark this spot. And then I don't know if I'll climb any of those others. I would like to be honest, but I don't know, I'm not really set up for climbing today. I do have my gloves and stuff, but live streaming kind of makes it complicated. But yeah, check out for those that are interested, check out the very beginning of this live stream in the replay. I found this giant rock. It's like the size of a car, but if I stood on it in just the right place, the whole thing was rocking back and forth quite easily. It was pretty interesting. I was surprised. Little did I know what would be coming after that, all these amazing rock formations. I had no idea what I was in for today. Might try to do a panorama here. Spooky. It was actually kind of fun. Like, I suppose it could have been dangerous. Like, if I rocked it back and forth too heavily, I guess it could like slide off the edge, but I was kind of prepared to jump off like Legolas if I had to. Plus Plus, I didn't tempt fate. I didn't rock the boat like too much. I'll try to get a full, not quite 360 panorama, but there's a nice view above and rocks below. Should turn out pretty cool. This is the kind of stuff that honestly it's just faster to use my cell phone, but since I'm live streaming with my cell phone, it doesn't really work. If he does a header, he'll get so many lemons. Yeah, I'm actually not very good at headers. I can do knees. I think you're referring to the soccer ball, I assume. But I can't do very many headers. A lot of the really talented jugglers, that's kind of where they keep the ball up for a super long time. But I never really learned that. It just hurts my head. I get a headache when I do headers too much. I did play soccer when I was young, and I always tried to avoid situations where a header was necessary, because it always just hurts. All right, so once again, the signal might crumble as I go down in the midst of these rocks. Just be prepared for a sudden end of the stream in case that happens. Oh, I don't remember if I marked that as a view. I should have. I'll just do it here. Close enough. All right, I'm gonna go over to this one. I think it's the tallest, probably the summit, so I'll try to climb it. There's a lot of animal activity. You can see the disturbance of the ground and stuff up here. I don't think people come up here though. Now that I know what this is all about, it's worth a second visit. I'd bring my friend up here to show him this stuff. I think he would like it. I have one friend that there's always a face. There's always a face on every single rock. Looks like a chameleon or something. Or a Simpson lip. Yeah, I have actually no, I just gained a new hiking buddy. Goes to the church that I go to. So, but he's not the kind, he's older and a little bit more of a normal hiker that likes to stay on the trails and stuff. You were thinking chameleon too? Nice. So I've gone on 2 hikes with him so far. There's a short on my YouTube channel where I was at some amazing waterfalls. I took him there. Well, technically he drove, so he took me there, but kind of recommended it because it's one of the biggest waterfalls, in the state of Oregon. At least by, it's funny, I mislabeled it the 3rd highest in Oregon. It's not actually, unless you measure it by a single drop. Some of the waterfalls they measure because there's 3 or 4 cascades separated by little parts of the river. So they're much taller when you measure them that way. But this one is just one big, long drop, and it's really big. Very beautiful. Let's see. Should I climb? I'm going to climb this one. This one should be easy, theoretically. As long as nothing breaks. I don't even need to use my hands. They're just perfect steps. So for anybody wondering, I wrote a script to convert timestamps into waypoints on my GPS track. Oops, I just wiggled the camera. And I have this smart button that records timestamps in a text file on my phone, and so later I have this Python script that converts those into waypoints based on my current location. So a single button chime means I'm on top of a boulder, marking a boulder that I climbed, and when I press it twice, that means there's a view. Oh, a little bit harder to get down. Ugh. Okay, so I have to climb this one because I'm pretty sure this is the summit of this whole area, unless there's something like behind it that's taller, but this looks like the tallest. So let me see if I can find a flat spot to put my camera down while I climb up there. Actually, you know what? That'll be easy. I can just climb it without I can hold my camera. This one looks super easy to climb. Worldwide flood, everybody. Oh, this is a sick hangout spot. Oh man, that's awesome. This is a Bible reading spot for sure. Nice view, got those other rocks down there. You can have the camera on the rocks behind me, and there's this perfectly flat spot where I'm standing that I could put a camp chair. It's perfect. Whew, I need to have a marker for hangout spot. Okay, I'm gonna put no, I don't have to put it down. I can get up this safely enough. All right. We are on the summit, I think. Yeah, for sure. There's nothing higher behind me. Oh, no. Okay. That rock right there is slightly higher, so let me go climb that one real quick. Anyone who mocks the worldwide flood, just remember, what do they really freaking know anyway? Where were they? Where were they? Yeah. I try not to make fighting words out of it, just because I know there's people with a lot of scientific study under their belt, and they always, and I respect the study that they've done, and not to say that I think they're right, but I don't like to. They have a lot more clear answers for their study that I don't. Mine is just based on basic observation, not like any kind of geology degree. Plus faith, faith goes a certain long distance as well. I believe what God said. That's enough for me. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is the summit, unless like somewhere behind those trees there's another like stack of rocks, but this is definitely higher than anything over there. So I'll mark this on the map. What a nice day, what a perfect destination. So much cooler than anything I could have expected. That's for sure. But look at how high I am up, and there's these rocks that, to me, speak of the presence of water in the past. Just like a strong, water, like the ocean kind of crashing in, gradually sinking over time, just like we read about in the Bible. This fits that account quite well. But of course there's other explanations, other geological happenings. So it's not the only possibility, of course, but that's what I believe. All right, let's see how far we can hike while still having a signal. Speaking of signal, it's just like randomly dying here and there. It's probably been doing that the whole time because I'm not always watching the screen. So some of the platforms might have already gone out to lunch because some of them don't really recover once they cut out. Okay, this is actually quite hazardous what I'm doing because I don't have my hands to use. Seems to be consistently good. Nice. Yeah, a couple of times I've looked at the screen and it says 0 kbps or whatever, so I think it like dies for like half a second and then comes back. Okay, I'm gonna try doing a 4 marker here. Okay, I'm gonna say if it's 4 chimes, then it's gonna be a hangout spot, I guess. Of course, I should have been marking those all throughout my various hikes. This will be the only one, but we'll see. Maybe I'll remember to add that to the script later. Okay, so that was probably kind of the highlight. Maybe, I need a marker for summit too. I'll have to just manually go back and add that one later. So I don't have access to my phone map when I'm live streaming, unfortunately. I wish my smart button had several buttons on it or some way to do different kinds of markers, but you can do a long press on it and you can have a different function set up for the long press, but I don't know, I try to keep it simple, I guess, but I could use that to my advantage. All right, signal's still going. Okay, well, we'll see how far I can get. And this is peculiar. You got the roots going down, but then there's this flat bed of that would make a really cool 360 camera shot if I could get my camera inside there, but I don't have a working 360 camera anymore. It's pretty cool. I think a lot of trees look like that, but usually there's clods of dirt and rocks inside that area, so you don't really get to appreciate the shape as much. But it's a very clear cage inside of there. All right, classic bushwhacking. Not too bad. We got a bat fly on my camera. It's black with very bright yellow eyes. I don't think I've seen flies quite like that before. Okay, back here in the trees where I'm not necessarily a perfect line of sight, this is where classically my streams tend to die out, but yeah, I'll just keep going as long as I can. The other thing I could do, if anybody watches this live stream later as a VOD, let me know what your thoughts are when I turned the camera 90 degrees. I'm not sure what most platforms do in that case. It might just leave some black bars on the side, and I might not take any counsel on it. Like, if it does what I want, I might do it anyway. But I think what I need to do is turn my overlays off, like my chat temporarily and my PhLo logo, and then I could just turn it sideways, record a short. That's not going to work really. The problem with that is that the vertical resolution will only be 1080 instead of 1920, so it's still not going to be a great solution, unfortunately. Which means I still haven't really solved my dilemma of recording shorts in the middle of a live stream. It's kind of a pain. But I don't get a lot of activity on my channel, but I've been getting a significantly more amount of people interacting on my shorts, so it makes it, I feel like, a worthwhile expenditure of time or whatever. So I'll probably keep doing it. Because some form of engagement on the channel is generally what I'm after. I'm not trying to make a living off of this, but it gets kind of boring if people don't show up for the live streams. Which today, of course, is a grand exception to that. Very much appreciate you guys dropping by. Makes a big difference. And just so you know, most of these people in chat are people that I've known for about 5 years or so, give or take. Some of them 3, some of them 5. Some of them are more recent, but kind of we all came from DLive. It's a little platform that most people don't know about. Yeah, you're welcome. I enjoy sharing my adventures. I know I could probably dream up some strategies to make my channel more successful or interesting, but I don't know. I don't really want to be a career content creator. It's so stressful. I've watched so many successful live streamers and YouTubers completely burn themselves out, and it's just like I don't want that for myself. I've already gone through extreme burnout in another area of my life, and the last thing I need is to go through that again. One of the latest, I don't watch his stuff religiously or that much, but there's this guy Jeremy with the quartering that I sometimes catch some of his stuff. He's really getting burnout. You can just see his like droopy eyes, losing sleep. He's always stressed about his YouTube numbers and all of his, because he has a successful enough channel that he pays a bunch of staff members. And so you have that stress on your shoulders, like not just your livelihood and income, but other families as well. A year from now, you're super famous and you're hawking NordVPN or skin cream halfway through the video. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to have anything to do with that world, really. It's just, yeah, it's very stressful. People get mad at you for showing ads, but that's kind of the only way to make money doing it, so. Agreement he made with Rumble, I think, extra stressed him too. Yeah, did you see his most recent video, or one of his recent videos where he talked about, I mean, he always does, you know, exaggerated titles, clickbait stuff, but he's like, I killed my channel. He kind of has an open heart-to-heart about it. I just watched that, and he's had quite a few of those videos over the years. And I just like, yeah, I don't think I want that kind of stress in my life. Didn't watch that one yet, yeah. It's hard, especially when you have that kind of audience, because the audience doesn't put up with ads, and they also are very kind of, I don't know, extreme. Like, you gotta keep your audience happy to make money, and he kind of has put himself in a position where he, has to listen to his audience or he'll fail. And I mean, that's just like, at that point, you're no longer really, in theory, you're potentially not even yourself anymore. You're just doing whatever's necessary to please your audience, and I don't want that. I want to have the freedom to be myself, say what I think, even if it kills my channel. I just don't even care. A stream for me, it's a way for me to document things if people want to watch. Cool, yeah. That's generally the same for me too, although lately, for a while I was getting like zero interaction, and when that happens for a certain amount of time, I just start questioning, like, why am I even doing this? Because now, posting videos you can do with a little bit more detachment, although it's still stressful because you're still going to go into your dashboard and check your numbers every once in a while. It's very easy to get addicted to that. But you can kind of ignore it, and if the videos tank, oh well, it's kind of discouraging. But live streams, it's like the whole point of live streaming is that it's live and people can chat. So if nobody's there, it just starts to feel kind of pointless. When I'm at home doing stuff there, it's not as big of a deal if nobody shows up. In college I did theater, like live instead of prescripted. Nice. When I'm at home, like doing crafts or other stuff, just sitting at home, it's not that big of a deal if nobody shows up. But when I'm out hiking, carrying a camera around, when I could just be, walking without a camera, then it starts to feel a little bit like insanity of some form. But I do like to share the adventures, and it does give me a way to post videos without having to go back and edit them later, which that's important for me because I do not like video editing. So bad at making videos that requires editing thoughts and such. Same here. I don't script anything, which I honestly wish I was better at saying organized thoughts. I tend to interrupt myself a lot, and then I forget what I was saying. I'm really bad at that. I wish I was better at talking and having something, interesting to say. But whatever. That's part of what, makes those successful streamers kind of stand out from the crowd, is their ability to communicate, be kind of in touch with culture and all that stuff, which I am not any of those things. Alright, we got some fairly medium to heavy bushwhacking I have to deal with here if I want to complete this circuit around this volcano. I think I'm still relatively close to the top of it. Actually a little bit to my left, but I'm trying to avoid that. There's a lot of bushes over there, so I'm cutting into the crater just a little bit. Yeah, I don't want to lose myself. Not that myself is that important, I'm not like an important soul in the world necessarily. I think everybody is important because God made them for a reason, but I think some people that get famous lose their souls in a way. They kind of lose their individuality, and I don't want that for myself. I like to talk to myself a lot, so I guess live stream is just me pretending to talk to someone instead of myself. Yeah, I understand. I live by myself, so part of it for me is my social outlet, since I don't have a lot of friends. So I kind of understand that aspect as well. Especially, it started during the COVID years. That's when a lot of us started live streaming, and we were forced indoors. Couldn't see our friends and family, all that. Of course, that's changed now, but I live out in the middle of the country where I don't really have friends and family. Just now, like over 2 years later, after my initial move, starting to get to know a few people, but everywhere, like most people that live out in these rural, middle of nowhere areas tend to be an older crowd, which I have no problem having older friends at all, but I don't know, it'd be kind of nice to have some peers, as people my age, even younger, just kind of a wider age bracket rather than just mostly older people, because I like older people because I'm a very old-fashioned guy, like maybe even more old-fashioned than some of the old people. But as far as activities, trying to find like activity partners that do the same kind of stuff. My activity partner spectrum is typically on the younger side of things because I do these crazy adventures. I'm a live streamer, I'm kind of goofy for my age. So yeah, I don't tend to fit in finding things to do with the older people. That's another reason I started outreach program, also to meet people and make new friends. Nice. So what's your outreach program about? Is that mostly about like the teaching, the homesteading and horticulture, whatever? I don't know the words for it, but is that what you were talking about? Okay, so you get through these bushes. There's a few rocks over here and a slight clearing. Teach gardening and basic level homesteading. Nice. Okay, I need a drink. I'm very thirsty. Is that done like on your property or in like a sort of like a classroom type environment? Okay. Assuming it's probably more hands-on. And how did you like learn all the skills that you have? I do local library, parks, and churches. Oh, cool. That's super nice. So it's super legit. I just kind of pictured it as sort of a thing where you invite people to your property or something like that. That's cool. Are you kind of self-taught, or did you like get a degree in some kind of that stuff, or grow up on a farm or something? I'm aware of your presence all these years, but I feel like I haven't really talked to you at length about your background. And obviously I don't want to get too personal because I don't like people to get too detailed with their questions of me at the same time, so don't feel obligated to answer everything. My degree is in family development. Interesting. That's cool. I have no degree. Never went to college. I just took a couple classes. Wow, there's a interesting burned tree there. It's always impressive when you see these things that were probably hit by lightning And yet there's no sign of fires anywhere except for that one tree. It's probably from a long time ago. I was a city kid and a prepper in the city. Oh, nice. Yeah, I grew up in the city also, but I just couldn't handle it. I had to get out for my mental health. I wanted to get out of the city in 2005 and move to southern West Virginia and start a B&B. Nice. That's super cool. In my opinion, you're kind of living the dream. If you're able to support yourself, that's the main thing. I don't currently have a job, so I'm not really living the dream. If I could sustain myself and still do all the same stuff that I'm doing, then I would be quite happy. But I've been struggling to find any kind of income. And once you've not worked for a while, I've noticed nobody will hire you because they like always want to see recent work history, and it's like, well, what do I do if I don't have recent work history? So I think that's my number one problem right now. I was doing the B&B and while I was doing the B&B, I met a lot of cool people, and I thought it would be cool to teach people how to take some of the steps I took. Yeah, that's awesome. Sounds like you're pretty much self-taught then, for the most part. Standing on a big patch of boulders. There were 0 jobs here, so I had to find interesting ways to make money. Yeah, I wish I was better at that, but growing up in the city, I've always just had employers. I'm not really an entrepreneur type person, although I am trying to start a small business, but just kind of struggling with motivation and just know-how. I don't really have a lot of experience with that stuff. And I got so burnt out with web design and marketing. Even though I have those skills, I can't get myself to make my own website and send out design flyers and stuff. That's really what I'm actually needing to do right now, and I'm struggling a lot with it. Found that a lot of older folks need a variety of help, so I do lots of odd jobs with them. That's cool. Yeah, I wish I didn't have. I have some physical limitations. I know it doesn't seem like it because I'm out here adventuring, doing stuff that most people wouldn't dare to do, but I have a really bad back issue that when I do certain kinds of movements like digging holes and bending down and lifting things, I actually kind of suddenly turn into a crippled person. It's pretty bad. So I have to, unfortunately, can't do a lot of hard labor type jobs. Some of the odd is just fixing their tablets and computer. That's cool. Oh, whoops. It's got caught up on a branch there. All right, I need to look at my map and see how much further I have to go. I don't think there's going to be more cool rock formations, so it's just getting around this crater. My current venture is to start a tea business. Nice. That's cool. All right, let me check the map here real quick so I see where I'm at. What? That's all? I'm literally exactly halfway. Wow, this is a lot bigger than I thought, and because of the bushwhacking, it's taking a lot longer. I didn't expect this to be that big of a deal. Not that I'm disappointed, it's just not what I expected. I was also blessed with being involved with Bitcoin. Oh wow, that's cool, man. Yeah, I'm somewhat envious of all those getting in the right spot at the right time kind of situations. I've never had money to invest in I don't trust my instincts in that regard, so I think I would just screw it up. So I'm kind of afraid to try. But the idea of it sure is attractive. Now it's kind of too late to make it big with that stuff. I'm really happy for you though that you were one of those few that got in at the right time. All right, there's some boulders I can mark. Almost a view here too, but not super clear. Very early days I had extra 600, so I put it in PhLo. That's so cool. It's awesome. Yeah, my only connection with crypto other than like DLive with the Lino thing, which was a complete failure, is just watching my friend Gives a Minute with his adventures. It's all over my head, so I don't really learn much, but I do sometimes watch his crypto streams, mainly just to hang out, so I'm kind of not really absorbing much about it, so I really have very little comprehension of how that stuff works. But he's done pretty well. He pretty much, I don't think he really put any money into it. He just put his streaming earnings, so it's kind of just play money, and he's like done really well. I'm really happy for him. All right, so looks like there's going to be a clearing over here for a view. Just need to get through this one last push of bushes. I put 600 in. I've lived off that 600 for 7 years. Wow, that's amazing. That is absolutely incredible. That's so cool. What I bet you never like could have dreamed that would be the case. That's awesome. All right, we got a great view here, which I'm glad for. Two cheers for a good view. I need a drink. I need to be drinking more. I get really dehydrated when I forget to drink. Okay, it's still only about halfway around this thing, and it's getting quite heavy on the bushwhacking, which is not my favorite. I'm really surprised the signal has held out all this time though. That's rare, quite rare. All right, I'm gonna see. Well, that would probably kill the stream, but it almost looks like there's a clearer path over that way, but just like right between those bushes I can sort of see the indication of a clearing, but yeah, it's been crisp. I'm amazed. Oh wow, got signs of human activity. That's actually surprising. It's the first signs. I guess I'll pick it up. I'm not really the type that picks up all the garbage and everything. I never leave garbage myself, but I feel like there's a lot of virtue signaling in that. Show that I did one thing like everybody on their videos. I'll pick it up. I don't like to see garbage out, but I see so much of it sometimes that I don't just like spend half of my day picking it up. But I'll pick this one up. Sometimes I'll come across these just huge dumps in the forest where people just take their garbage and pile it out. And I can't exactly just go pick it all up. All right, this is getting really heavy with the bushwhacking. I'm actually surprised to find that out here. It's not even fully faded yet, because this is not a normal place to be walking. Pick up garbage in my path, but I agree, I don't go out of my way. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind. It's just, it is kind of a hassle when you don't bring a garbage bag with you and you're trying to enjoy a time out in nature. I'm actually quite surprised to see that here. I didn't expect to see any signs of recent human activity. To be honest, I know this sounds crazy, but I think a lot of the times that, I shouldn't say a lot of the time, sometimes that stuff is actually left by people that are doing maintenance on the forest. Because I sometimes see those piles where it's obvious that they were doing some tree cutting and stuff. And so some of the workers are less considerate about that stuff, I guess. Okay, we found a good clearing for at least a short distance. Doesn't look like it'll last, but I take advantage of every little easier path that I can. In fact, it might be better over that way. We'll try it. This slight view here, which is always welcome. I'm probably missing some boulders too, like on the inner edge of this crater, but I don't think they're going to be as cool as those ones that I already saw. I'm not too concerned about catching all of them. Here's some boulders. There's small ones. Yeah, this is a lot better down here. You can actually see paths that I don't have to bushwhack quite as much. Don't always get me very far though. This is probably, 50 years ago or some unknown number. This is probably one of those paths that they cleared for either forestry type, or timber, I should say, industry, cutting trees, or possibly fire prevention. It looks kind of like one of those clearings, but I don't know. All I know is that it makes my life a little bit easier, so take the path of least resistance. It does look like a forestry cut, yeah. Usually it's pretty obvious. You can even see like the ruts from the big vehicles in the ground. But if this is one, it's very old because it's completely covered. Pretty common to see these on the top of mountains though. Just like right here, you can just see kind of a path like straight through there. It's overgrown, but there's something left of it, just an indication. The woods around here have a lot of them. Yeah, same here. I actually don't follow them a lot on my hikes because the places I hike are so remote that there's less of them. But like the areas that are closer to populated areas where they have to kind of do controlled burns and clear some of the underbrush, they're like all over the place, just constant right around like the towns and stuff. They're still out here also, and I do take advantage of those even just to get out here. Like some of those old forest roads still exist, and so I drive out on those to get as close as I can before starting my hikes. Let's see, this looks pretty good over here. Hesitate to look at the map again because I'm always, if I look at it too many times, too often, then I'm like, I barely even moved. So I like to wait between times that I check it out. And then also there's a lot of animal paths that I end up following. Oh shoot, yep, I am, you're right. Yep, I see it. Thanks for letting me know. I might just end the stream here because let me get down to these boulders down here. It's kind of silly to keep the stream going when it's, really unstable. The audio is still very clear. Yeah, audio takes only like 160 kbps, so it's a very small amount of data. Video takes like 20 or 30 times the same amount. Of course, also if I just stand in one place, the video gets better because it doesn't have to re-encode everything. But yeah, thank you for joining me. Thanks everybody that was here earlier as well. Good old friends from the past and some new friends as well. End it here, and joining me. I will see you all next time. I might go on a second hike today, and if there's a signal up at the top somewhere, I might live stream it, but probably not. But I don't really plan anything. It just happens when it happens. So thanks, Dr. Firefly. I'll see you around, and anybody else that might be lurking, we'll catch you later. Guess I'll do a quick pointless selfie that nobody asked for, but sometimes I like to do it just to prove that I'm actually live and this isn't pre-recorded. But all right, we'll see you around later.